About orphans, and the second one I'll get to it first, but the first one's called Somali is my nation. Somali is my nation, but I am ashamed. I am proud of my people, but terrified by their actions. It's not the past ones, nor the present ones that I fear or hate, but their negligence, arrogance, and selfishness that has left us with our single structure with its foundations intact. Bullet holes and artillery shells is the norm where I'm from, but what about the lives of the unseen faces of the young and the old and in between? What have they done besides pay the ultimate price, not with their lives, but with their souls and spirits, every ounce of being, every flesh and bone, toenail, hair follicle, sperm and egg taken away from them? What did the children of Somali ever do? Innocent Hassan was destined to be great. But all of that changed that one September afternoon when some little Morian took his future away. So now he walks in the streets and sleeps in the alleys, eats from the trash cans where he fights the rats and cats for scraps of food. His childhood denied, his teenage years uncertain. Will he make it to adulthood? Unlikely. Actually, I was being optimistic, he won't. Truth be told, he won't. Now that my honesty senses are up and running, let's get cracking. Hassan ain't that different from Ruqayya, with a similar story of funding for herself in the mean streets of her city, where she calls her cardboard box her home, selling her body to please her empty stomach, looks that you would envy in a banging body, all alone and by herself. So she has to make it, but she does not know her days are numbered because the guy who bought her lunch yesterday gave her the AIDS. But the lives of Hassan and Ruqayya are not uncommon. Countless others share the same past and dark road ahead. For their lives, for their state of living and the state of mind is a byproduct of the Darod, Hawi, and Isaac that you hold so close, but has driven them to the edges of humanity. For they are the orphans of Somalia. My second one is called Udurka Somaliyat. Udurka Somaliyat. What about Somalia? They asked to the West. It's worse than Darfur, they claim. The West points and laughs. Man, look at them baboons. Who? The Somalis? Yeah, those people without a government for 18 years. What a joke. Man, leave them alone. They suffer from Udurka Somaliyat. Udurka Somaliyat? Yeah, Udurka Somaliyat. The bubonic plague of the Mariole. Udurka Somaliyat has deprived us of 18 years of progress, prosperity, and peace, but has given us 18 years of the Gal, the Masho, and the Bato. Udurka Somaliyat has scattered us far and wide to the depths of the Gulf of Aden, to the torture cells of Ethiopia, to the slums of South Africa, where we're treated like the scums of the earth. We sure do fit the profile though, scums of the earth. That's our legacy, scums of the earth. My grandfather, your grandfather, Saeed Muhammad Abdullah Hassan, the Somali Youth League Party, worked their asses out for what? So we can become the scums of the earth. So we can become the scums of the motherfucking earth. You're thinking, what more? No, I'm perfectly fine. Prove me wrong. Do something. Somalia is home to 10 million people. 5 million people are starving. Did that register? Maybe you went in Somali. The number is staggering, right? Their conditions undescribable. Talk about severe malnutrition. Maybe it's the lack of passion or no information. Hamad burns has eat your halwa. An Ethiopian soldier rapes while you rap. Addis Ababa schemes and strategizes while you're doing shukansi and shayqa. So forget the politicians, forget diplomacy. You and I is enough. We got the voice, we got the power, we need the unity. Harun, let me get 10 minutes of your time. No, I gotta want to work. Instead, I'll come to this meeting. No, I gotta study for chemistry. Anissa, come to that meeting. What is it gonna do for me? She asks. Shu'ab, come to this conference. What's it gonna do for me? He asks also. Anwar, come to this event, show some support. Is there gonna be food? He asks. Adig and Halimo, she says she'll come, but she'll never come. She'll never show up. They got Udurka Somalia. Do you? I've seen it. It's in your eyes, ever so present, looming in the corners of your mind. Jump for joy. There's a cure. Midinimo. We need unity. As a school and university needs the soldiers, the fabrics of our society are falling apart, and we gotta pick up the pieces. Don't let other Somali consume you. Fight with unity. Midinimo, midinimo, midinimo.
Let's take a moment for the heard for the past 17 years. Attending shows of close-knit friends, or even taking a walk in our neighborhoods. These are quite standard activities that we as Somali Americans take for granted. We perceive that nothing is so special about such ordinary activities. Then we go about our everyday schedule, uninformed about the horrific events taking place in other less fortunate parts. Occasion that we may actually stop to ponder. Our usual thoughts linger about the misery of regions such as Iraq or Afghanistan, and every so often Sudan and Darfur. While the crises those countries face are considerably awful, Somalia is the nation that's facing the worst humanitarian crisis in Africa. The event unfolding in Somalia is nothing less than a complete rage. It's an absolute shock that in a country that is in apparent need of assistance, the people in this country are starving, ill, naked, and disappearing. If this situation is not responded with the right amount of assistance, the deprived civilians in Somalia will not be looking forward to a grim crisis but death. It's an amusing fact that when we think about disaster or despair, our minds and thoughts are so quickly to contemplate about the misfortune unfolding in the Middle East or other more recognized worlds. No judicial system, and last year an estimated 700,000 people of its people became refugees. Around 8,000 people, most civilians, died in 2007 alone. According to a study conducted in Mogadishu, 16, the majority of them are orphans. Most of them lost at least one parent to the civil war, and many of them come from needy. Therefore, because they have no other means of securing a living for their families and themselves, soldier lives become more attractive to them, and in return, they especially in a society where there are no employers to work for, no schools to attend, and no government to turn to for protection and social services. Somalian kids are in shortage of food and water. The chief of UN estimated that 3.5 million of Somalians, half of Somalia's people, will be in need for food assistance by the end of 2008. The UN has issued an aid appeal for 637 million for Somalia, but so far has gotten. Education is not an option for these kids. Since there is no government to fund schools charge tuition for children, and there is no way a child who can't afford a meal for a single day can afford to go to school. Worse, they can't even attend Islamic school, which we call Dixie, because that itself requires tuition. What are the chances you will be wearing the same clothes tomorrow? And how many times a week do you look into your closet and can't even decide what to wear? Their lives, they wear one clothes until it wears out on their skin. Consequently, they can't bear the rain or the sun, therefore they die naked in every corner of Mogadishu. At least 1 in 10 Somalians have been made homeless by conflict. They are vulnerable to malaria due to a lack of shelter. They have no belongings, and they're forced to pay rental for just sleeping under someone else's tree. Somalia is now facing the worst security situation in the past 17 years. With increased armed conflict and fighting, targeting humanitarian aid workers because nobody can even give them a bag of rice, they would just kill them. And military buildup, increased sea piracy, and political tension. Today is the day to wake up for the sleep you've been sleeping for the past 17 years. And today is the day to take an action, because every second that you wait, a child's life is claimed. Thank you.